Hey guys, welcome to Running with Curls. I'm Christina, and today we are going to look at a full wet post-run refresh. So today is my day 3 hair, and I did a couple of miles this morning. We had cross-country practice, and so in the shower I got my hair completely wet and just kind of scrubbed my scalp. I didn't use a cleanser. I did use the Not Your Mother's Curl Talk Curl Mask, their deep conditioner. I left this in and brushed it through with my detangler brush and left that in for about 5 minutes and then rinsed it out. So I've had my hair in the microfiber towel and it's still pretty wet. I do want to fully wet down my curls again because my curls respond better to applying products when they are completely wet. So I'm going to use my continual spray and just spray that. I'm gonna add the moisture back to my curls. So during the summer, I know you've heard me say how my hair really craves protein. During the summer, I do make sure my curls are super moisturized. That is something that they respond really well to in the summer. And so adding water, actually just like how when you drink water, it hydrates your body, adding water to your styling can actually help hydrate and moisturize your curls. So my curls are fully wet down, they're dripping, and I'm going to reuse the stylers that I used on my wash day. So I'm going to use my Curl Talk leave-in conditioner. I'm just going to spray that in and scrunch it into my curls. If I was doing a regular refresh, so I hadn't done a full wet and brushed out my curls, I would use praying hands because that causes less frizz if you're working with partially dry curls. Then I'm going to use the Curl Talk sculpting gel. Now this gel does have glycerin, and in Georgia it's pretty humid, and glycerin is a humectant, which means that it pulls moisture from the air. So humectants are great because they can help your hair retain moisture. But if you are in a high humidity area, that means that there is a significant percentage of water in the air. And so if you have a significant percentage of water in the air, when the humectants come in contact with that, it can cause your curls to actually absorb that water, which is going to over moisturize them. So they can become frizzy, they can become limp, they can actually lose their curl pattern. So I do use products with humectants sparingly during the summer, but this product I found, even though it does have glycerin, it works well for my curls. So that is something to think about, especially if you live in a high humidity area. When you read your product labels, you're going to see all the ingredients listed. And so when you read them, glycerin is actually the second ingredient. So that means that it does have, it's pretty high up there. So it could be something that like during the summer you might want to avoid. So a lot of my products that do have humectants, I avoid during the summer months just because they don't respond as well to my curls. So going to finish with Curl Talk Mousse. This is one of my favorites. It gives lots of definition, lots of body, and I am all about adding volume to my curls, and this mousse does a great job of that. So literally just going to scrunch it into my curls, work it in. And when I do a full wet refresh, I actually will curl train some of the areas that I did that on my wash day, because it just helps to reform those curls, especially on later day hair, because your curls will kind of fall out over the course of that time. So I do my side part. I go ahead and part my hair before I dry it, just because I want my curls to lay like that. So if I part them like that, then that's how they're going to dry. And so with my curl training, I'm going to take these front pieces and I'm just going to twist. So I take them in between my fingers, roll up, and then when you unroll, you have these nice pretty ringlets, which is what we want my curls to do. So I do this to just a couple of the sections towards the front. I have done it on all of my hair. One, it takes forever. And two, when I curl train, I feel like I don't get quite as much volume. So I just use these in specific areas to kind of define those curls because I do want the definition, but I also want the volume. So I found on days when I do take the time to curl train everything, it's not quite as voluminous, and that is something that I like. So just totally personal preference. Also, like during the school year, when I have to be at work super early, don't have quite as much time to do this, so I'm definitely not going to curl train all of the sections. But normally I'll just curl train right around the front and a couple towards the back just to have those super defined curls on the top. And then I'll have my other ones. They're still defined. Oh, that one did not behave how we wanted it to. So literally just do it again. No harm, no foul. So just redo that. There we go. Much better. So that's basically what I do here. The reason I do a full wet refresh is I found kind of twofold reason. One, it allows me to extend my wash days. As a runner, I get a lot of buildup because you're sweating, your hair is up. So my runners, my athletes, you know what I'm talking about. You get that sweat on your scalp, super gross, but we also don't want to wash our hair every day. So what I do is I do a full wet refresh. So it allows me to kind of break up and remove some of that buildup with just water without using the cleanser and stripping my hair of the oils that I need. So I normally do a full wet refresh kind of halfway between my wash days. And so that allows me to extend that time. It allows me, one, because you know, if you work out, you have all that sweat in your hair, it's gonna start to smell. So it helps to get rid of that. It helps for it to smell better. It helps to condition my hair in between washes. And it also helps just as far as styling. I feel my curls respond better when they are wet. So those are my reasons for doing my full wet refresh. So you can see I've curl trained these front sections, so we are ready to go. So what I am going to do now, I diffuse. I know there's the big debate with curly girl, do you use heat? When I diffuse, I use medium heat, I use medium speed. Sometimes I'll use low heat if I have more time, but I'm just someone, I can't stand wet hair. It drives me crazy. And also when you diffuse, you get more volume. And we know I am all about getting as much volume as I can in these curls. So I am going to diffuse. I'll show you some of my diffusing techniques, and then we will scrunch out the crunch and see how the full wet refresh turned out. So this is my bed head diffuser. I've used this for 2 years. It is my absolute favorite, and it does a great job. If you see, the little spikes have vents in them, so that hair comes up through that, and it also comes out through the different little places here. So what I do, I flip my head, and when I'm diffusing, you want to make sure that your roots are not stuck. You want to kind of break that up. So one way that you can do that is you can use your hands. You can kind of rake them through your curls. Another thing that you can do while you're diffusing is to flip from side to side. When you flip your curls, that allows them to lift up from the roots so that they're not flat on the top. because the worst thing, at least in my opinion, one of the things I hate when I have a great wash day or a great refresh and all my curls are super defined and they look great, and then they're stuck flat to the top of my head. So, flip your curls throughout the diffusing process. It's going to lift them up from your roots. It's going to add volume. Another thing that I do when I'm diffusing is I separate my layers. So I'll lift them up and I'll dry those layers separately. That's going to add more volume. It's going to separate your curls. And again, it's going to lift those curls off of your roots. You can already see how they're starting to lift up. So those are a couple of things that I do when I diffuse, just to help my curls, add volume, and just help with their definition. You can see that as I'm drying, they're becoming more defined. They're getting a lot of volume. You can also see how the pieces that I curl trained are still holding that pattern. So that is your goal when you curl train, is just to help your curls to follow that natural pattern that you have. So if you curl train, it's not necessarily going to give your curls a different pattern. Like if I had 2B curls and I used that method, that's not going to teach my curls to be 3C curls. That's not how it works. What it does is it helps your curls to follow the natural pattern that they already have. So I'm going to finish diffusing and then I'm going to show you guys the finished results. So my curls are completely dry. I blow dry for about 15 minutes. You can see, so this is where we curl trained. Look at these beautiful little spirals. So you can see the curl training. You can see the areas that we didn't really curl train, but they have more volume, which is what we're going for. So this is completely dry. The gel does form a pretty good cast. So using the same microfiber towel, we're just going to scrunch that out. You can use a microfiber towel to do this. You can use a silk or satin headband, anything. You don't want to just use like a regular towel. You can use a t-shirt, anything that you would use to kind of dry or to protect your curls. You can also use any kind of like finishing oil, and you can put a little bit of that between your palms and use that to scrunch out the crunch as well. So here we have it. Here is my scrunched out refresh. Super voluminous, super defined, day 3 curls. And this will definitely last me days 4 and 5. And then we'll wash depending on when my long run is. So thank you guys so much. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you next time on Running with Curls.